Hello guys, welcome to Miscellaneous UPC. Today we are going to start. Actually, I have made a starting from last video, but this is the important thing: how medieval period of India goes. Okay, first, where did we stop? We stopped near uh, Muhammad Ghori placed his governor Qutub bin Aibak in India and left. So from there, the Delhi Sultanate begins. Okay, first basic thing is why people will not use sultanate in Mughal empire. What is the difference of a sultan? Okay, now we will try to know the basic word, that is sultanate and Mughals. Okay, what are these words? First, let us know about this sultanate. So who the invasions happened in thousands were due to people from Turkey. Okay, these are Turkish invasions, right, which came into India. Fine. See, in Turkish, rulers are known as sultanates. Rulers are known as sultanate. Okay, sultan. Okay, their empire is known as sultan. So Muhammad Ghori and his slaves came from that Turkish region. That is the reason their ruling is known as sultanate. Where did they rule? That is from Delhi. That is the reason this is called a Delhi Sultanate. So even if you are reading any book, you will not find Sultan using used in Mughal. You will not find. I mean, most of the times you will not find Sultan being used for Mughals. Why? Because Sultan refers to Turkish rulers. So whoever came from Turkey are being named as Delhi Sultanate. Till where we will be using Delhi Sultanate? Till Lodi dynasty. From slave dynasty to Lodi dynasty, it is referred as Delhi Sultanate. Then what is this Mughals? Mughals, see, who was the one who established Mughal Empire? Babur. So, who is this Babur? What is his ancestry? His father belonged to Turmid. This is a dynasty or a kingdom around Afghanistan. Okay, Afghanistan, and his mother's side is from Mongol. But they don't like this Mongol origin because you know about the history of Genghis Khan, right? Genghis Khan belonged to Mongols. Okay, that is the reason they did not like being named after these Mongols. Okay, so mostly even they are called as Turmids also. Okay, these Mughals. Okay, this is the basic difference of Sultanate and Mughals. Now we will go into thing main question first. So what is this? I told Delhi Sultanate began with slave, that is Qutub bin Aibak was a slave of Muhammad Ghori. So that is the name came after slave. Even most of the kings in the slave dynasty were slaves. Okay, that is the thing. Even you can name it as Mamalik dynasty. Fine, that is the thing. Okay, these are the people known for Delhi Sultanate. Fine. So the next empire is Mughals. Okay, all these are Delhi Sultanate. Even few Afghans are there here. Even then, they are named Sultanate. Okay, that is the thing because the kind of thing they have brought this Turkish remind with Lodis also. Okay, so the legacy brought by this Turkish continued even till this Lodis who are Afghans. Okay, now we will know about Delhi Sultanate. Fine. First, who was the first Delhi? Leave this thing, okay? Who was the first Delhi Sultanate Sultan? That was Aibak, right? That's Qutub bin Aibak. He was the one who declared his independence. Okay, he declared So after Gori leaving him in India, he after Gori's death, till the Gori's death, he was acting as a feudatory of that or as a governor of Gori. But Gori, after Gori's death, he declared himself independent. Okay, that is the thing. Here begins the first independent Turkish kingdom. What did I tell you? The Turkish, wherever the Turkish there is a word Sultan. So first Delhi Sultanate kingdom got established in India. That is slave, slave dynasty. Because Kutubuddin was a slave. Next, he made his capital Lahore. Okay, that is the thing. Aibak issued coins in gold, silver, billion. Billion means you can see bricks like gold, right? Those are known as billions. Bullions. He discarded carving of Abbasid Caliph. See, Abbasid Caliph means he was the main person under whom all these rulers used to be under, right? But he declared, even he discarded him. So, saying his independence. That is the thing. Okay, next. Fine. Okay, the significant thing about Qutb was he laid the slave dynasty. Next, he began the construction of Qutub Minar. If you find Qutub, it doesn't mean that he named after himself, but actually on revering of his Sufi saint, that is Qutub bin Bakhtiar Kaki, has started the construction of Qutub Minar. But he did not complete it. Who completed it? His son-in-law, that is Shah Shamsuddin Iltutmish, completed this Qutub Minar. Okay, fine. Next, he belonged to Ilbari tribes. Okay, so his dynasty were called as Ilbari dynasty. Ilbari dynasty. Okay, so this slave dynasty got changed into Ilbari dynasty. Fine, that is the thing. Who then you will know who was the founder of Ilbari dynasty. That is Iltutmish. Okay, the important thing about his rule was he formed the Iktari dynasty, Iktari system. Means rather than giving money for their services, whoever the rulers were there, he just gave Ikta or a piece of land and asked them to collect money from that piece of. Okay, that is how he got services from his nobles. Okay, because he can't control that who is emperor, so he just gave the pieces of land, asked them to rule those pieces of land, collect taxes, and take their revenues and give the remaining money to his emperor. That is the thing. Next, another important thing done by this Iltutmish was Shahalgani, means this is his court. So he is being supported by 40 nobles. Chalgani means 40, the 40. 40 nobles who will be supporting this court. Okay, that is the thing. Next, who was his next successor? That was Rajia. She has been nominated as the next Sultan of Delhi. But this was not supported by this Chalganis. Okay, after a lot of contention, after the death of Iltutmish, she was dropped and another person come into this picture. Who is that? That is Nasir Muhammad. He was the person who was who ascended the Delhi Sultanate throne. But he was puppet under a person known as Ulga Khan or Balban. Okay, what this Balban has done? Nothing but Balban is the father-in-law of this Nasir Muhammad. Okay, but in the name of Nasir Muhammad, this Balban rules the kingdom. Okay, according to him, the Sultan was the God shadow on earth and recipient of divine grace. Fine. Next, he broke the power of 40. That is Chalgani. Okay, he broke it. Next, That is the thing. Fine. What are the significant things this Balban has done? He prohibited alcohol. Even he did not drink it. Even he did not laugh. Doesn't have any that Navarasala, okay? He did not laugh. Mostly he didn't laugh. And he introduced Sijada and Paibos, kissing Sultan's feet. These were the things introduced by Balban. He was not a king. But after Nasiruddin's death, he will proclaim himself as the Sultanate of Delhi. Okay, there was a conspiracy that Balban poisoned this Nasiruddin Muhammad and enthroned this Delhi Sultanate. Okay, next he introduced Navroj. That is a Persian festival. Okay, that is a Persian. What is the importance of Navroj in present history? It is under UNESCO's Intangible Heritage of India. Recently 2017 it has been placed. Okay, Navroz festival, this is important. Okay, Intangible Heritage of India. Okay, that was named. Okay, next he brought up these departments: finance department, military department, divanara. Sometime they will ask you match the followings. Okay, next next comes the after the death of Balban, the rulers were very weak. So what happened? I already said whenever the kingdom is weak, their governors will declare themselves independent. Whatever the history, this is will happen. Okay. Next, that is here was the Khaljis who were protecting the northwest. After the death of, after the decline of this slave dynasty, they started to occupy this area. That is, Khalji nobles headed by Jalaluddin overthrew the incompetent successors of Balban and established Khalji dynasty. Okay, this is the dynastic revolution of 1290. Means what Jalaluddin Khalji was? He was the governor of slave dynasty. So he established Khaljis, Khalji or Khilji, whatever. You must have seen that Padmavat movie, right? That is the thing. Khalji. Okay, okay. Who was this Jalaluddin? First, we will leave this Alauddin. You must be knowing this person, right? First, forget about this Alauddin. Who was the founder? I told Jalaluddin Khilji was the founder. He was the father-in-law of Alauddin Khilji. Okay, father-in-law of Alauddin Khilji. But killing this Jalaluddin Khilji, Alauddin Khilji will ascend the throne. Okay, and declare himself Sultanate of Indian subcontinent. Okay, fine. I already told in ancient India there are 3% in the Indian history who completely ruled this whole India. One was Ashoka, the other was Alauddin, and other person was Aurangzeb. Because if you look at their kingdom, means the expansion they have done, that is huge. It will come here. All these 3%. Okay, remember if you have any doubt, just go Google it and find out. Try to see how huge extent they have expanded their empire. Okay, next, fine. So after killing his father-in-law, Alauddin Khalji, Alauddin Khalji ascended the throne. Fine. His ruling was very important because he brought out important things. Okay, he prohibited to hold festivals because a lot of expense. That was very luxurious one, right? Nobles were wasting a lot of resources, so he put a hold on these festivals. If those nobles want to conduct any festival, they had to get the permission of this Khalji. Okay, next, he introduced Shamajwadi. That is, Samaja. That is, Samaja was Okay, next. See, without his permission, he banned wines, intoxicants to avoid social gatherings and reorganized spy services. Okay, that's the thing. Next, important thing about this Alauddin is his poets Amir Khusro and Mir Hassan. Okay, these are the important person in the court of Alauddin Khalji. Okay, next, Malik Kafur was a slave. This is the person of in Padmavat movie. Okay, he led a series of expeditions of southern part of India against Yadavas, Kakatiyas, and Hoylas. What this sentence means? This means that Khaljis were contemporary to Yadavas, Kakatiyas, and Hoylas. Hoysalas. Okay, remember this important thing. Okay, next, this is the thing. Then most important thing of Alauddin was his reforms, like Chardag system means like labeling the horses. Okay, even his market reforms were important. Okay, why these all were brought? See, important thing done by Alauddin was labeling horses. This is an important question. He was the one who introduced this thing that was known as Chehara and Dhag system. Okay, fine. That is the important thing. What were the constructions he has done? Alai Darwaj. This is the Alai Darwaj. This is the entrance of Qutub Minar. Okay, remember that thing. Okay, that is the thing. The other things are important. Even he started to construct Alai Minar also. But what happened is he died before that. He wanted to construct huge tower this much huge so that this can outnumber this Qutub Minar. But it did not happen. It got, I mean, when this was, when that Alai Minar was this much height, it got stopped to the death of Alauddin Khilji. Remember that thing. And most important thing, other than this Chehara and Dark system, were market reforms. He was the one who brought up market reforms so that he can sustain his army. He wanted to maintain big army, so he needed a lot of resources. Rather than giving a lot of money to these army, what he can do, he can reduce their expenses. How? He can make the prices of the grains, all these household products constant, making them, keeping them constant. He can give less money to these soldiers, right? That was a technique applied by Alauddin Khilji. Okay, whatever, whenever even there was a famine or not, the same prices used to be present. Next, Tughlaqs. See, even these Tughlaqs were governors of Khaljis. See how whenever when a weakening of a kingdom happens, his his or her governors will proclaim their independence. That is what happened with Khaljis also, Tughlaqs also. Okay, who was the first founder of this Tughlaq empire? Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. Even these people used to protect borders of India here. And after the decline of Khalji, they, they started to replace this vacuum by establishing Tughlaq dynasty. Okay, Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq was the founder of Tughlaq dynasty. Fine. Important things about this person was these things. He built a strong fort called Tughlaqabad. Blah blah blah. Okay, that is the thing. Tughlaq Nama was written by Mir Khusro, who is a poet in sorry, yeah, writer in Alauddin Khilji's court. Right? Remember that. Next, this is another important person. Okay, who he was the successor of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. Next, important question comes in any exam is who was the travelers, right? Who was the traveler in Ghazni times? Who was that? Al-Burni, right? Al-Burni was the traveler in Ghazni time. Okay, next, Ayan Batuta was a contemporary of Muhammad Tughlaq and was his an envoy to China. Okay, see, even even like Alauddin Khilji, even Tughlaq came up with some reforms. The disastrous one was this thing, changing capital from here was Delhi. He brought this capital to Devagiri from here to here. While crossing these all these mountains, a lot of people died. So even people felt homesick, and after watching all these things, again Muhammad bin replaced this capital to Delhi. I mean, replaced that. And the important thing is this token currency. He issued bronze coins at par with the value of silver tankas. He had also introduced the copper currency system, later withdrawn. Even this was a failure. Two things he has done. One was changing capital, another was introducing token currency. What is this token currency? Token currency means it comes in economy, right? Economics. So token currency means, suppose this is a coin. Its weight is around 165 grams. Okay. If if the material used to prepare this, I mean produce this coin is 1,000 rupees, and value of this coin means for using it as a money, its value is around 10,000, means the symbol, I mean like a face value, its cost is high than the its material, right? Then it is called as token currency. Suppose similar coin, let it be this copper. If a coin of gold is there, this is a name, I mean element name, okay, gold is there. Suppose similar 165 gram is there, what will be the value of that coin? Even if you declare it 10,000, the material used to prepare that coin will be more than that, right? Around 1 lakh. That is called as another coin, intrinsic coin. That is something. Remember this thing, token coin. Okay, token currency. That is the thing. Means material used for the preparation of that coin cost is very less compared to its face value. That is the thing. That is the token currency. Next, who replaced this? Muhammad bin Tughlaq. It is Firoz Shah. Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Okay. Next. And what were the things he has done? See, he imposed jizya upon Brahmanas. Jizya is a non-Muslim tax. Remember this thing. This is important. Means he was intolerant towards. This symbolizes what? It symbolizes he was intolerant to other religions. Okay. Next, what did he construct? A lot of things did he construct, right? Like Qutub, repair of Qutub Minar, Firoz Shah Kotla. So many things he has constructed. Okay, that is the thing. He established hospitals, marriage bureau, and a employment bureau. This is the thing. Next. So, why I came to this Vijayanagara Empire from Mughals? I'm sorry, Delhi Sultan. Because Tughlaqs were contemporary to Vijayanagara Empire. Vijayanagara was also contemporary to Bahmani Empire. Okay, remember this thing. First, in Vijayanagara Empire also there were a lot of dynasties. One was Sangama, Saluva, Tuluva, Aravidu. Okay. Okay. Next, to which our Sri Krishna Devaraya belongs, the greatest king of Vijayanagara, that is Tuluva dynasty. Remember this important. This is important. Okay. And founders belong to Sangama dynasty, who were Harahara and Bokka. Harahara and Bukka were the founders of Vijayanagara Empire or Sangama dynasty. See, there are valid sources for the study of Vijayanagara Empire, like archaeological sources as well as numismatics. Numismatics means coins, study of coins. Okay, important thing about this Vijayanagara is the number of travelers. Ayan Batuta, because he was present in Tughlaq's empire, means he is contemporary to Vijayanagara empire. Every line has its own meaning. Okay, another one is Venetian traveler Niccolo di Conti, Persian traveler Abdul Razak, and Domingo Pies. This can be a direct questions. Who are the travelers present who came to Vijayanagara empire? See, this was the Vijayanagara empire, and this was Bahami empire. See, Bahami empire. This was the Bahami empire. Bahami empire only next disintegrates into Deccan sultanates. Okay, sultanates of Deccan. Okay, and this was ruled by Tughlaq. Fine. This is the map. You have to observe it. First, I already told founders were Sangama dynasty or Vijayanagara, were Harahara and Bukka. Okay, they were the feudatories of Kakatiyas. So, who were the Kakatiyas? They were the contemporaries of already we have studied Khilji, right? Means these were the thing, Kakatiyas. Similarly, to Tughlaqs, who were contemporaries Vijayanagara. That is the thing. That is the inner beauty we need to know. Important ruler of Vijayanagara Empire. That is Sri Krishna Devaraya, who belonged to Tuluva dynasty. Who founded the Tuluva dynasty? Veera Narasimha. And important among all the rulers in Vijayanagara was Sri Krishna Devaraya. Okay, the greatest of the Vijayanagara rulers was also known as Abhinava Bhoja, Andhra Pitamaha, Andhra Bhoja. Okay, his imposing personality and was accompanied by high intellectual quality. He was a great commander. Okay, next. 8 eminent scholars of Telugu were Ashtadiggajas. Among them was Allasani Peddanna, who wrote Manu Charitra, Hari Kadasaram, Tenali Krishna, you know about him, right? Panduranga Mahatyam, and Pingala Suvaranna, and Pandavinyam, all these things. And what construction did this Sri Krishna Devaraya has done? That is Vittala Swami temple and Hajara Swami temples. Next, I already told. See, the southern India was broke into two things. One was with Bahami Empire, another was Vijayanagara. Okay, so both are contemporary to each other. What this contemporary means? Both are present at the same time. So these two persons were fighting for the Raichur Doab. What is this? Doab means what? If any two rivers are flowing, the area between these two rivers is known as Doab. Okay, this Raichur Doab is present between Krishna and Tungabhadra. Tungabhadra is the tributary of Krishna. This is Krishna and this is Tungabhadra. This place is called Raichur Doab. For this place, they were fighting. See, along with Vijayanagara, another powerful kingdom arose in South India, which was Bahmani Sultanate. Alauddin Hassan Bahman Shah was the founder of this Bahmani Sultanate. Okay, these two kingdoms used to fight with each other to get their control over this Raichur Doab. Fine. See, Sri Krishna Deva defeated the last remnant of Bahami Empire, after which Bahami Empire collapsed. Means after fight with Krishna, this Bahmani Empire got disintegrated into losing to 5 kingdoms. One was Nizam Shahis, Adil Shahis, Qutub Shahis. You must be hearing this word a lot of times, right? That is Qutub Shahi, Imad Shahis, and Bahid Shahis. Means, see, this part was divided into five parts. That is what this means. After the war between these people, the Sultanate broke up into 5 states. One is Nizam Shahi, Adil Shahi, Qutub Shahi of Golcondas, Imad Shahi of Beras, and Barid Shahis of Bidar, which are collectively known as Delhi Sultanates. This is very important. They will ask directly questions. Who rulers are present in this Delhi Sultanate? All these are collectively known as Delhi Sultanate. Sorry, Deccan Sultanate. I'm extremely sorry. End of the Vijayanagara. You know who was the most capable ruler of Vijayanagara? Sri Krishna Devaraya. After his death, the successors were very weak. Okay, the next successor of Sri Krishna Devaraya was Ramaraya. So Ramaraya has to face the combined forces of those five Delhi Sultanate. This war was known as Battle of Banihatti or Battle of Tallikota. Very important. Okay, this was a war between Vijayanagara and Delhi Sultan. After this, Vijayanagara will get completely destroyed. Okay, see Tallikota. See, so where we are actually we were discussing about South India. Even after Tughlaq's disintegration, after decline of Tughlaq, who was the last capable ruler of Tughlaq? That is Firoz Shah. Why his kingdom got decreased? Because of his intolerance against natives. All those rulings, even his huge spendings on constructions, all this has led to decline in his Tughlaq dynasty. So this Tughlaq dynasty led to Sayyid dynasty. There are no, I mean, reputed people in this thing. So we will skip all those things. Last come this Lodi dynasty. Okay, who was the founder? Founder was Bahulul Lodi. Okay, important. Even this person was a persecutor of Indians or Hindus. Okay, even he imposed jizya. Okay, that is a non-Muslim tax. The last important person who will change our Indian history is Ibrahim Lodi. Okay, what is the thing? You know, right? This was the person, that is Ibrahim Lodi. What he do is he will criticize his governor Daulat Khan, Daulat Khan, and even he defeats Rana Sangha. What these two person do is they will go to Afghanistan and invite Babar, who comes to India and defeats Ibrahim Lodi and establishes Mughal kingdom in India with Battle of Panipat in 1526. By 1526, if I look at this number, you will able to get a small spark. What is that? In 1498, Vasco da Gama entered India. From this, you can say that Europeans entered India before Mughals. That is what you have to observe from this date. See, there were three battles which changed Indian history. These three battles were Panipat 1, 2, 3. In this, 1 and 3 are very important. Okay, that is Panipat 3. Panipat 1 was which introduced Mughal Empire. Another was Panipat 3. Panipat 3 was fought between Marathas and Afghan forces. Okay, for what did this? At that moment, Mughal emperors were there, but why did these Marathas fought with these Afghans in place of Mughals? Because there was a treaty in between Marathas and Mughals. What was that? To give rights of taxation over the areas around Maratha. So Maratha kingdom can collect taxes from these surrounding areas so that these Marathas will not be willing to, will not be showing any interest to raid these Mughal areas. Okay, that treaty was called. Those rights were Sardeshmukhi, okay, Chowth. Those were the rights given to this Maratha. This was the question in CAPF 2020. Okay, Sardeshmukhi. That was a question given in CAPF 2020. Okay, that's the thing. So after this Panipat war, Babur entered India. So this is the lineage of Babur. Fine. Now we will go into Babur. We will know about Babur. This person. He entered in 1526. Battle of Panipat. Let's go into Babur. See, Babur is the founder of Mughal Empire. Simple. First, he was the first emperor. Political situation in northwest was suitable for Babur to enter. Who have invited Babur? One was Rana Sangha and Daulat Khan. Fine. See, see, he succeeded Ibrahim Lodi. That is through Battle of Panipat. See, important battles in which Babur participated. That is Battle of Panipat, through which he established Mughal Empire. Next was Battle of Kanwa. Why you? I already told you that Rana Sangh has invited Babur. Then why did he fought with this Babur? Let us know. The reason was, what was this Rana Sangh was thinking, as how history has happened. When invasions happened, those people used to destroy our cities, plunder the all the cities, and just take away the wealth and leave the country. But it did not happen with this Babur. He stayed in Delhi. That is the reason all the expectations of Rana Sangh was defeated, because he wanted to uh, ascend the Delhi throne, but it did not happen. So he happened to fight a battle with Babur. That is Battle of Kana. Even through which battle Babur has entered India? That is through Panipat, fighting with Lodis, right? Even few people or few Lodis will be left, right? That battle is called as Battle of Gagra. Babur defeated the joint forces of Afghans. Afghans are nothing but Lodis and Sultan of Bengal. That is the thing important. Next, we will go on to Humayun. Humayun is the son of Babur. The at time which Humayun entered India, I mean, who ascended the throne, he was with a lot of problems, because he has to face growing Afghan leader, that is Sher Shah Suri. You know what? In the life of the life of Humayun, this Sher Shah Suri defeated twice this Humayun in the battle of Chausa and in the battle of Kanuj. After the death of Sher Shah Suri, again Humayun entered India. Till then he was wandering in the Iran. See, Sher Khan, nothing but Sher Shah Suri, defeated Humayun, which made him to forced him to flee to Iran. In Iran, Humayun received help from the Safavid Shah. He captured Delhi in 1515, but he died in an accident. So, after the death of, see, Lord, in 39 he was he went to, he fled to he flee to Iran. After that, in 1515, means around 24 years, after 24 years, no, not 24 years, yeah, around something, around 14 years, he again entered India. So even his age was around 60 to 40. So after a few years, he died. And the son of Humayun is Akbar. Okay, fine. He ascended throne. Actually, when he ascended throne, he was only 8 years or around. He was a juvenile. Okay, he was a child, but he was taken care by Bairam Khan. Bairam Khan. Okay. After realizing that he was taking, he is taking granted. This Bairam Khan was taking granting this position of Akbar. He asked him to leave the court, and Akbar ascended the throne. Fine. After the ascending throne, he has to consolidate the kingdom because Humayun's rule was very weak, right? He always, I mean, due to Sher Shah Suri, he fled to Iran. So there was no political stability in the country. So Akbar has to fight a lot of kingdoms to bring in his kingdom. So first battle was Battle of Panipat. Akbar defeated Hindu Hemu, King Hemu. Okay, he was a Rajput. Next, Battle of Taneswar. Akbar defeated two rivals of sannyasis. Okay, and other important one is this Battle of Haldighati. That is a battle between Raja Mansingh, means he was a governor of means Akbar. Okay, so we can consider that this happened between Akbar and Rana Pratap. Okay, Rana Pratap of Mewar. That is the thing. See, Akbar's position in was in dangerous when he succeeded his father Humayun as Delhi was seized by Afghans. Okay, in 1556, Afghans means the remnants of Sher Shah Suri. In 1556, in the Battle of Panipat, Akbar defeated Hemu and army of Hemu fled with made victory of Bengal. Okay, about Din Allah. This is the religion, faith brought by Akbar. You must have studied in your 10th class, right? This is the thing. And the new religion believed in one God. Monotheism, right? Next, he abolished jizya. Jizya means religious tax and believed in suk I khul. This is the question given in APF 2020. Okay, this is important. Sul I khul means all are equal before God. It means there is a complete tolerance of religion. Anyone can believe in any faith. Okay, that is the thing. He allowed his Hindu wives to worship their god. So this line will show that he is tolerant to religion. After built Ibadat Khan at his capital Fakirpur Sikri, he invited several scholars from religions like Christian, Hinduism, Zoroastrianism. Okay, so in Ibadat Khan, every day there used to happen good religious discussions. Okay, so this signifies that he was a good tolerant of all the religions. Next, he introduced Mansabdari system, that is Sawar and Jat. Okay, that is a army system. Okay, next, the land and revenue system called as Japti and Bandobast system. Remember these names. Okay, Mansabdari was introduced by Akbar. Next comes this Jahangir. He did not like any ruling or those things. He was a puppet under his wife Noor Jahan. Okay, that is important. But he was a good painter. Okay, with him he brought. I mean, he was always engaged in painting. He just left all these rulings. Important rulers were Abdul Sahan, Ustad Mansur, and Bindas. Next, see, Captain Hawkinson is Thomas Rowe visited his court. For what? For getting permissions or farman to establish forts and factories. Okay, this is fortification. Okay, to protect their interests. Next, this Shah Jahan, after winning a lot of wars with his brothers, he ascended the throne. Witnessed a war of succession among his sons. Means who was his son? Aurangzeb was one of his sons. Okay, later on imprisoned till death by Aurangzeb. Greatest importance of Shah Jahan is his construction: Red Fort, Jama Masjid, Taj Mahal, and Moti Masjid. Okay, remember these things. Nothing important is Taj Mahal. Next, here comes the person after which this was the climax to Mughal Empire, because after this king, due to his insignificant policies, means losing faith in Rajputs, because whatever the king, I mean, when you see Jahangir was born to Hindu wife and Akbar, right? That shows that Akbar was quite leaning to this Rajput, because Rajput, there was a great significance in this Rajputs because they showed great, I mean, royalty. Okay, loyalty, whatever these things, because they showed this loyalness. Okay, that is the reason Akbar used to believe in this Rajput and used to give them highest rank in this Mansabdari. Around 5,000, 6,000 was given to this Rajputs, Man Singh, all the Singh, Raja Tondramal. Let us see what are the policies this Aurangzeb has brought. First important thing was his policy towards Rajput. Also, also alienated the Rajputs and gradually lost their position in the administrative system. This is the worst thing Aurangzeb has done. Okay, he was intolerant to Muslims. He imposed jizya. All these things has led to disintegration of Mughal Empire. Next, next successors were very weak. Why I have missed a lot of kings in between here. There are so many kings, but why I have came to here means these are important. Alamgiri, because during his empire, Battle of Plaji will take place. Okay, they will ask during the Battle of Plaji who was the Mughal. Alamgiri. Next was this Baudar Shah too, during which that is Sipai Smiti in 1857 will take place. That is the thing. Next, we'll go on to constructions. This is important. This is the questions. All most of the questions come from here. Constructions. Baba did not have time because he has to go into fight all the time. For I mean battles all the time. So he was the most important thing he has done was Charbagh. Means this was the garden. Char means four parts of garden. This is what this Babar has introduced into India. Next, constructions of Akbar. Important construction was his city, that is Fakitpur Sikri. Okay, lot of things. He has constructed Agra Fort, Panch Mahal. Right? What next? Buland Darwaja. After winning a battle with Gujarat ruler, all these things were constructed by Akbar. Even he completed Humayun Tomb. This Humayun Tomb was started by Humayun's wife, okay, but it was completed by Akbar. That is what has happened. Next, see, there were no significant constructions in Jahangir because Jahangir was interested in painting. Important construction among was Akbar's means Musalman means where his dead body was kept. Okay. Next is Shalimar Gardens. Okay, that is the thing. Next, most important person who has constructed, I mean, a lot of architecture was this Shah Jahan. One was Taj Mahal, Jamma Masjid, Red Fort, Moti Masjid, Pearl Mosque, all these things. Shahjahanabad, Red Fort, Peacock Throne, important. This was taken over by Nadir Shah. That is what happened. That's it, friends. I have completed all these things. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, just hit the like button. In the next, I will be telling you about British policies, okay, from Pitt's Act to all those Indian Council Acts, Government of India Acts, all those things, and from 1961 to around 1909, all these things. Next to Minter Morley, Montego Chelmsford, that is in 1909 is Minter Morley, 1919 that is Montego Chelmsford, Government of India Act 1935, Independence Act 1947. All those things I will be dealing in the next video. I hope you like this. If you like this video, hit the like button and share it to your fellow aspirant. All the best. Thank you.